Today, we're diving into some really fascinating research from Tran University. It asks a pretty tough question. With AI changing literally everything, what if the very systems we use to measure our economy and train our workforce are completely broken? Let's get into it. The researchers get right to the point with this. Is the future of work invisible? I mean, think about it. If our official systems can't even see what's actually happening out there, how on earth are we supposed to prepare for what's coming next? Well, it turns out there is a huge blind spot. And here it is in a single number, 17.3%. Now, that might not sound like a huge number on its own, but we're talking about 33 million people in the US workforce. 33 million people who are effectively ghosts in the machine. They're self-employed, they're freelancers, they're running their own small businesses, and our current model, it just has no way to count them. So how did we get here? Why can't we see these people? Well, the problem is baked right into the very foundation of our national job training framework. It's a system that was designed for a totally different world, an era of work that just doesn't exist anymore. I love this analogy from the research. Our mean job training framework, it's called WIOA, is basically the operating system for our workforce. But it's like trying to run the latest, most sophisticated apps on Windows 95. It's slow, it's buggy, and it completely misses the point because it was built for an economy of W-2 jobs and big companies, not for the gig economy and the rise of the solo entrepreneur. And this slide basically shows you the system's source code. Just look at that middle column, UI wage record match. That is everything. It means success is measured almost entirely by one thing, finding a traditional W-2 paycheck. If you don't have one, as far as the system is concerned, you're a failure. And that forces training programs to focus on one thing above all else. Just get people into a W-2 job, any W-2 job, fast. And here are the real-world consequences of that thinking. This get 'em a W-2 job fast model means people get pushed into low-skill jobs that, you guessed it, are the most likely to be automated by AI. It also means the system rewards programs for pumping out a high volume of cheap certificates, which just creates this revolving door of low-quality jobs. People get trapped cycling through jobs without ever building real, durable skills. So this bias towards W-2 jobs isn't just a small technical glitch. It creates this massive blind spot in our economy. It makes millions of productive, hardworking Americans completely invisible to the people making policy. And this is the point that's so crucial to understand. When your only measurement tool is a W-2 wage match, you completely miss those 33 million people building their own careers. The system isn't just outdated, it is actively ignoring one of the most dynamic and fastest growing parts of the entire economy. Let's make this real. The research uses the beauty industry as a perfect case study. A traditional system might just lump everything into cosmetology. But look closer. A nail technician has clients coming back like clockwork every 2 weeks. That creates an incredibly predictable, high-frequency stream of revenue. It's a fantastic model for a small business. But it's one our system is totally blind to. So you get this completely absurd situation. You have a highly skilled nail technician building a successful business, a loyal client base, creating real economic value. But because the workforce system can't find a W-2 form with her name on it, it marks her down as a failure, maybe even as unemployed. The system is actually penalizing entrepreneurship. Now, this broken system would be bad enough on its own, but then you throw in a massive disruptor like AI, and what was a bad system becomes an urgent crisis. Because AI isn't targeting the jobs that we think it is. The research introduces these two really important worker profiles. On one side, you have the human touch worker. This is your esthetician, your nail tech. Their job needs physical presence, precision, and trust. AI just can't replicate that. But on the other side, you have the cognitive worker, doing routine administrative tasks. And these are the skills that generative AI is getting very good at automating. This chart is absolutely key. It shows that risk isn't just about how exposed your job is to AI, it's about your ability to adapt. So a software developer has high exposure, sure, but they also have a high capacity to learn and adapt. The real danger zone is that third bar, workers with high exposure but low adaptive capacity. That's a lot of clerical and administrative staff, and these are the very people our current system is failing the most. And the numbers here are just staggering. We're talking about 6.1 million US workers in that high-risk category. But here's the part that is truly shocking. A massive 86% of this vulnerable group are women. concentrated in those exact administrative roles that AI is set to disrupt. The very system designed to help them is instead pushing them toward a dead end. Okay, so what's the solution? This all sounds pretty dire. The research proposes a fundamental shift in how we think. We need to move away from measuring paper credentials and start measuring actual competence. It's a concept they call proof of work. So, what is it? Well, instead of relying on a static diploma that just proves you learned something years ago, proof of work is a dynamic, living record of what you can do right now. It's all about continuous, repeatable performance, not some one-time achievement from your past. So how does that work in the real world? It breaks down into these 4 parts. It's not just saying you have a skill. It's providing verifiable, time-stamped proof. We're talking about digital portfolios, client reviews, photos of your work, real artifacts that demonstrate you can deliver results consistently over time. And adopting this new model isn't just about tweaking a metric. No, it's about building an entirely new support system that's smarter, fairer, and ultimately a lot more human. The researchers call it a full-stack approach. I love that. It's a framework that supports a worker through their entire journey, from the moment they start learning a new skill to proving they've mastered it, all the way to launching and growing their own successful small business. This table just lays out the whole argument perfectly. On the left, you've got the old world. Success is just about getting someone out the door and into any job. Verification is that flawed W-2 match. The whole incentive is speed over quality. Then on the right, you have the new model. Success is about making a persistent, real contribution. Verification is a rich digital portfolio. The incentive is true skill mastery and growing your own business. It's night and day. And the impact of this shift is just profound. It's about building a system that finally recognizes the dignity of hands-on vocational work, a system that values the human connection that AI can't replace and supports the autonomy and creativity of individual workers. You know, that's how you build a more inclusive and resilient economy for everybody. This quote from the research just says it all, doesn't it? The real value of work, the dignity in it, doesn't come from a tax form. It comes from consistently applying your skills to help other people. And that is what we should be measuring and supporting. And that leaves us with this final, really critical question. As AI forces us to completely rethink what work even means, we also have to fundamentally rethink how we as a society define and measure human value. And that's a challenge we all need to start thinking about right now.